Y'all, I literally think I just accidentally stumbled across the secret of life. I'm not joking. This is not clickbait. Just please stay with me. This symbol that has to do with the meaning of life, I feel like I just cracked the code on it. Trust me, you have never heard this information before. It's gonna get good. Okay, I read like little secret books, and there's this book from like the 1930s or 40s called The Secret Path. It's by someone named Paul Brunton. In it, he talks about societies and initiation and immortality, and he focuses on the secret societies in Egypt and how they had initiations that had to do with men seeing their higher selves, seeing a new world behind the veil. It would literally put them into contact with their soul. Okay. Basically, this guy Plutarch had a quote. He said, "At the moment of death, the soul experiences the same impressions as those who are initiated into the great mysteries." So this author in the book talks about the key to these mysteries showing up on the back of an Easter Island statue from like the 1800s. He said it was the Ankh, or the cross of life, that you'll see as an image for many secret societies. And it all has to do with a new world temporarily being opened up to these initiates. So now I'm about to initiate you. I discovered a meaning behind this Ankh, or key of life, that I don't think anyone has ever discovered. I think so. And really quick, this was basically the key to immortality. So if you were able to be aware of your soul in this lifetime, you could harness that at death and be able to steer your consciousness into your next and next and next lifetime on Earth, granting you immortality because you won't forget your past lives. So this, I have a theory, is why some people feel connected to maybe Tesla or Einstein or ancient deities. Maybe they are immortal archetypes walking among us. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna start from the beginning. Please hang on. I swear this is cool. So I read that page and I was like, download. Okay, looked up the Ankh. It meant key of life. It symbolized the symbol of life itself. To me, life is a mix of your consciousness and your soul. I call your soul plasma. It's the fourth state of matter. I think it's the clay, invisible clay, that makes up the soul. And what does that soul hold? It holds our consciousness. That way, when we die, our consciousness is gone back into the bigger plasma field. So the soul, or plasma, is a vehicle for our consciousness. And our human body, which is a cross, our consciousness, which I would call an infinity symbol, which is immortal, which can forget itself, is squeezed into this cross. Do you see where I'm going? Plasma is a huge key to this, so just listen. And go to my Plasma Intelligence playlist to learn more on how I see plasma, so you can get acquainted with this knowledge. It's also called ether in ancient traditions. Okay. And really quick, for anyone watching this who is a little hater or is like, oh, other worlds, stupid. They used to laugh at people who thought America was real and there was stuff on the other side of the ocean. So I wouldn't laugh at people that believe in other worlds, because it very well can be true and we are discovering it. Okay, that is all the attention anyone needs. Okay, so thinking that the soul is plasma, I was like, let me Google the word plasma and Ankh together. And oh my effing God, I cannot believe what I'm about to show you. No. Okay, so stay with me. I found that there's an Ankh protein gene. And I was like, okay, like maybe there's no correlation. Like that's kind of weird, but whatever. Remember, I Googled plasma with this. So really quick, side note, whoever knows as above, so below, like in magic, as within, so without, nature reflects, right? So our cells kind of reflect how the universe is, but also how we are. So in the cell, there is the outside of this called the membrane, or the plasma membrane. The plasma membrane not only protects the cell, but has different functions of transport for in and out from the plasma outside of the cell, blood plasma, to inside the cell. Also maintains the shape of the cell. It has to do with shaping, protection, and communication, and balancing. Proteins are the hub of the membrane, because this is how the transport and communication happens, through specific proteins. So when I think of our aura, or soul, or cell, what is shaped around us, It's like, this is like what everyone has around them, why you could feel like other people have bad or good vibes, because we're bumping into their circle soul cells. But my theory is that every aura, every soul has a plasma membrane. This is like a bioplasma, and then there's a membrane on the outside. My theory is that this is where we receive consciousness, and this is how our conscious perspective, this is where it lies, which feeds into our brain that receives consciousness. So when we see or feel something outside of us and we have our own conscious perspective, it is then fed into our brain receptors, probably with the mitochondria or microtubules or whatever, and this receives the senses and what we're thinking about, what we're observing. That then filters back to the outside world, if it was like a spiritual simulation, where we start to see things as we believe them. I hope that's making sense. So my theory would be that if there's a plasma membrane on our soul, it also uses it also has these certain proteins. So back to the Ankh, I started looking up the Ankh protein, and it has to do with transporter activity in the membrane. I was like, not only does it transport activity, but it's inside of the frickin' plasma membrane. No, it has to do with plasma. Like, come on. And if it couldn't get any weirder, I went to go back to the book to just reread the paragraph I was reading on the Ankh. And I'm not joking. I said to myself, this is a coincidence. And I read this page. I don't know if you could see it. The paragraph said at the top paragraph, this is not merely a coincidence, but a significant pointer. I literally feel like that was like whatever this higher intelligence was telling me, I'm onto something. And as we know, things are meant to be a mystery. Maybe it's not the answer to whatever the life, but I'll explain. But this points to something, to some truth. So back to the Ankh. Here is what I have derived that it symbolizes. Basically, our body is the cross. It is our material body on earth. And then we're like, why is it open at the top? For me, this symbolizes openness, an open perspective. It symbolizes astral projection. It symbolizes immortality. It symbolizes our consciousness moving across the plasma field realm. And these people, very respectable people, and also everyday people in secret societies, did this and do this. We learn how to travel the astral realm. You can laugh all you want, but makes life more fun. If you want to be boring, go ahead. But these people have a head on their shoulders, they own businesses, they run the world, trust me. So if you want to laugh at it, laugh. Anyway, the secret meaning I feel like I've derived from this is the Ankh is basically a symbol of our consciousness within plasma traveling outside our body. Picture your consciousness as this infinity symbol, because it's immortal, traveling in this field, this space, this plasmatic realm, out of your body. And this is how it opens, and then it just goes out. Da, da, da. It makes so much sense to me. And then we're just here, loving life, figuring out the astral realm. And then when it's time, we come back into our bodies. Once again, I think this just points at the mystery. I know it technically doesn't solve anything, but instead of it just being the key of life, this is the knowledge and the wisdom that we can literally open up our mind and perspective and body and travel outside of it with our consciousness, which I know a lot of you guys know that are watching. I think that's what this symbolizes. And that's literally what they did in the Egyptian pyramids and in pyramids in Mexico. And I think this Ankh protein has something to do with the way we receive our consciousness and can communicate our consciousness and soul, which are kind of braided together right now in this lifetime. This is going to take obviously more research from me, but I just kind of figured this out and I wanted to put step one out there because I know y'all are very smart and have your own downloads and research. So hopefully this can add to something you're doing or thinking. If you have a different perspective, I would love to know. I'm very aware this is only my perspective and not the truth. It feels like my truth. Maybe it resonates with you. Maybe it is a secret truth. Who knows? But it's cool, and I wanted to share and get information out there because I feel like we should trust humanity because innately many of us are good. Have fun out there, my travelers. Look up the Ankh protein.